Anna wakes up early every morning to the familiar sound of her alarm clock. She stretches, rubs her eyes, and gets ready for another day at the hospital. At 33 years old, she is a dedicated nurse who has spent years helping people in need. Her job is demanding, but Anna finds meaning in her work. Each day, she faces long hours, often staying late or covering night shifts, but she never complains. For Anna, being a nurse is more than a job, it's a calling. Anna lives alone in a small but cozy apartment not far from the hospital. Her space is simple, reflecting her modest and practical personality. A few framed photographs of her family sit on the shelf by the window, and the aroma of fresh coffee fills the air each morning as she prepares to leave for work. Despite her solitary lifestyle, Anna doesn't feel lonely. She spends her free time visiting her mother, who lives in a quiet village outside the city. Her mother, now elderly, relies on Anna's help for many things, from household chores to trips to the doctor. These visits bring Anna a sense of comfort and purpose. Her mother always has a warm smile and a plate of homemade cookies waiting for her, making every visit a cherished moment. Life for Anna has been quiet and predictable. She focuses on her work and her family, rarely making time for herself. Her days follow a routine: early mornings, busy shifts, and evenings spent reading or catching up on her favorite shows. She has no boyfriend or significant social life, but she doesn't dwell on it. Anna tells herself that she is content, even if her heart occasionally yearns for something more. At the hospital, Anna is well liked by her colleagues and patients. Her kind demeanour and patience make her an excellent nurse. She listens to her patients' stories, offering them words of encouragement and care. For Anna, these small interactions are the heart of her work. She believes that a kind word or a gentle smile can be as healing as medicine. One of Anna's favourite moments at work is when she steps outside during her break. The hospital garden, with its blooming flowers and quiet benches, provides her a brief escape. She sits with her tea, feeling the cool breeze on her face, and reflects on the day. In these quiet moments, Anna feels at peace, even if she wishes for something to break the monotony of her life. Though she seldom thinks about it, Anna's heart has room for love. Deep down, she dreams of someone who could share her simple joys and understand her dedication to others. She longs for a companion who would appreciate her for who she is, beyond her role as a nurse or a caregiver. But these thoughts are fleeting, brushed aside by the demands of her daily routine. Before we continue, think about this. Every story you hear here is a step toward your dream English. But imagine speeding up this process with something made especially for you. English Express is here to transform your learning journey. Click on the first pinned comment and start speaking English with confidence now. Anna's life, though uneventful, is filled with quiet strength. Her dedication to her patients and her love for her mother define her days. But what Anna doesn't realize is that her world is about to change in ways she never expected. It was an ordinary Monday morning at the hospital when Anna first heard about the new doctor. As she entered the staff lounge to grab a cup of coffee before her shift, the air was buzzing with excitement. Her fellow nurses were chatting animatedly, their voices filled with curiosity. "Did you see him?" whispered Clara, one of Anna's closest colleagues. "The new doctor is starting today. They say he's young, smart, and very handsome," Anna smiled politely, not giving much thought to the conversation. A new doctor joining the hospital wasn't unusual. Doctors came and went, and while some left lasting impressions, Anna rarely allowed herself to get too involved. She had her patients to care for, and that was her priority. As her day unfolded, Anna became engrossed in her work. The hospital was unusually busy, with patients coming in one after another. She hardly had time to think about anything else. It wasn't until late afternoon that she finally encountered the new doctor. She was reviewing a patient's chart at the nurse's station when a warm voice interrupted her thoughts. "Excuse me, are you Anna?" Anna looked up and saw a tall man with kind blue eyes and a friendly smile. His brown hair was neatly combed, and his white coat fit perfectly, giving him an air of confidence and professionalism. "Yes, I'm Anna," she replied, trying to hide her surprise. "I'm Michael," he said, extending his hand. I just started here today. It's nice to meet you. Anna shook his hand and managed a small smile. Nice to meet you too, Dr. Michael. Welcome to the hospital. For the rest of the day, Anna couldn't help but notice Michael as he moved through the corridors, interacting with staff and patients. He was approachable, kind, and always had a smile for everyone. His presence seemed to brighten the atmosphere, and it wasn't long before the nurses were singing his praises. He's so charming, Clara said during their break. And did you see how he handled that difficult patient earlier? He's amazing, Anna nodded but kept her thoughts to herself. She had always been cautious about getting too close to colleagues, preferring to keep her work and personal life separate. Still, she couldn't deny that Michael had a certain charisma. Over the next few days, Michael's reputation as a talented and compassionate doctor grew. He often stopped by the nurse's station to ask questions or share a quick joke, and Anna found herself looking forward to his visits. Despite her initial hesitation, she began to appreciate his genuine kindness and approachable nature. One afternoon, Anna was assisting a patient in the recovery room when Michael entered. Anna, could you help me with something? He asked, holding a clipboard. Of course, she replied, following him to the hallway. As they discussed the patient's condition, Anna noticed how attentive Michael was. He listened carefully to her insights and treated her opinions with respect, something she deeply appreciated. It was a small moment, but it left a big impression on her. As the days turned into weeks, Michael and Anna crossed paths more frequently. He often stopped to chat with her about work, asking about her day and showing genuine interest in her thoughts. His friendly demeanor made him easy to talk to, and Anna found herself opening up to him in ways she hadn't with anyone else at the hospital. For the first time in a long while, Anna felt a spark of excitement in her routine. Though she didn't fully understand it yet, something about Michael's presence had begun to change her perspective. What Anna didn't realize was that her quiet life was about to take a turn she could never have anticipated. Anna's days at the hospital became brighter as her interactions with Michael grew. It wasn't just his charm or his ability to connect with patients that caught her attention. It was the way he made everyone around him feel seen and appreciated. Michael had a way of noticing small things, whether it was a nurse who seemed overwhelmed or a patient who needed extra encouragement. Anna admired how he treated everyone with the same level of respect and kindness. One evening, as Anna finished her shift, Michael approached her with a casual smile. Anna, do you need a ride home? He asked. Anna hesitated for a moment. She usually preferred to take the bus or walk, but the offer was tempting. The idea of getting home faster after a long day was too good to pass up. Sure, that would be nice, she replied, her voice soft. As they walked to his car, they talked about their day. Michael listened intently as Anna shared a story about a young patient who had just recovered from surgery. He laughed at her jokes and nodded thoughtfully at her observations. Michael's car was clean and comfortable, and as they drove, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They spoke about their families, their favorite foods, and even their childhood dreams. For Anna, it was refreshing to have someone so genuinely interested in her life. When they arrived at her apartment, Michael turned to her and said, I really enjoyed talking with you. Anna, you're easy to talk to. Anna felt her cheeks warm. She wasn't used to such compliments, especially from someone like Michael. Thank you, she said, smiling shyly. I enjoyed it too. From that day on, Michael often offered to drive Anna home. Sometimes he would bring her a cup of coffee or tea during their shifts, a simple gesture that made her feel valued. They began sitting together in the cafeteria during lunch breaks, their conversations growing deeper with each passing day. Anna found herself looking forward to seeing Michael. His presence brought a sense of comfort and joy to her routine. She couldn't help but wonder if he felt the same way about her. Before continuing, if you're enjoying this story, consider subscribing to our channel for more inspiring tales to help you learn English. Just tap the subscribe button and keep learning with us. One Friday afternoon, Michael surprised Anna with an invitation. I have a day off this weekend, he said. Would you like to go to the movies with me? Anna's heart raced. She hadn't been to the movies in ages, and the idea of spending time with Michael outside of work was both exciting and nerve-wracking. "I'd love to," she replied, her smile widening. The weekend arrived, and their outing was better than Anna had imagined. They laughed at the funny parts of the movie, and afterward, they went for a walk in the park. Michael shared stories about his life, and Anna found herself captivated by his openness. As the evening ended, Anna felt happier than she had in years. She couldn't help but wonder if this was the beginning of something more. But as her feelings for Michael grew, so did her questions. Why was someone like him handsome, kind, and seemingly perfect so interested in her? Anna couldn't shake the thought, and deep down, she feared the answers might not be what she hoped. Anna couldn't stop smiling as she walked into the hospital the Monday after her weekend with Michael. Their time together had been wonderful, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a spark of hope in her life. Michael greeted her with his usual warm smile, and everything seemed perfect until he asked to speak with her privately. "Anna, can we talk?" he said, his tone gentle but serious. Curious but slightly nervous, Anna nodded and followed him to a quiet corner near the hospital garden. Michael looked at her, hesitated for a moment, and then began to speak. "Anna, I need to tell you something important," he said, his blue eyes meeting hers. "I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I think you're an incredible person. But there's something you should know about me." Anna felt her stomach tighten. "What is it, Michael?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm married," he said quietly. The words hit Anna like a wave, leaving her stunned. For a moment, she couldn't speak. She searched his face, hoping to find some hint that he was joking, but his expression was somber. "You're married," she repeated, struggling to process his confession. Michael nodded. "Yes, I've been married for 5 years. Her name is Laura." Anna felt a rush of emotions: confusion, disappointment, and even anger. "Why didn't you tell me before?" she asked. "I didn't know how," Michael admitted. "Laura and we're not happy. We don't have much in common anymore. We barely spend time together, and our marriage has felt empty for a long time. But with you, Anna, I feel something different. You make me happy, you make me feel alive." Anna's mind raced. She had started to develop feelings for Michael, but now everything felt complicated. She didn't want to hurt anyone, and the thought of being involved with a married man went against everything she believed in. "I don't know what to say," she said, her voice trembling. "I need some time to think." Michael nodded. "I understand. I just wanted to be honest with you." Over the next few days, Anna couldn't focus. Her thoughts were consumed by Michael's confession and the emotions it stirred in her. She liked him, there was no denying that, but the situation felt wrong. She spent hours replaying their conversations in her mind, trying to make sense of it all. One evening, Anna confided in her best friend, Sarah. Over tea in Anna's apartment, she poured out the entire story. "Anna, you deserve someone who can be with you completely," Sarah said, her tone firm but caring. "You're an amazing person, and you shouldn't settle for less. Think about what makes you happy, but also think about what's right." Sarah's words resonated with Anna. She knew she needed to make a decision, but it wasn't easy. She cared for Michael, yet she didn't want to be the reason someone else's marriage fell apart. A few days later, while shopping at the supermarket, Anna's thoughts were interrupted by a familiar voice. She turned and saw Michael standing with a woman. It didn't take long to realize that this was Laura. She was tall, elegant, and strikingly beautiful, with perfectly styled hair and an outfit that looked expensive. Michael and Laura were laughing together, their body language suggesting they were closer than Michael had described. Anna froze. Seeing them together brought a new wave of emotions: hurt, confusion, and a sense of betrayal. She quickly left the supermarket, unable to face them. That night, as she sat alone in her apartment, Anna reflected on everything. She thought about Michael's kindness and how he made her feel, but she also thought about Laura and the complexity of the situation. Anna knew she had to talk to Michael again. She needed answers. And more importantly, she needed clarity for her sake and for his. The weekend after her encounter at the supermarket, Anna couldn't shake the image of Michael and Laura together. It lingered in her mind, stirring feelings she couldn't quite untangle. She wondered if Michael's words about his unhappy marriage were true or if he had exaggerated the situation to justify his actions. Anna spent most of her free time at home, trying to process her emotions. She wanted to believe that Michael was sincere, but seeing him with Laura had planted seeds of doubt. On Monday morning, Anna walked into the hospital with a heavy heart. Her usual energy was replaced by a quiet determination. She resolved to confront Michael and ask for the truth, no matter how difficult it might be. When she saw him in the hallway, she called out, "Michael, can we talk?" He turned to her, his expression softening. "Of course. Anna, what's on your mind?" They stepped into a quiet corner of the staff lounge, away from prying eyes and ears. Anna took a deep breath, summoning her courage. "I saw you at the supermarket with Laura," she said, her voice steady but firm. "You looked happy together. I don't understand why you're spending time with me if things between you two are so bad." Michael's face fell, and for a moment, he didn't speak. Finally, he sighed and said, "It's complicated. Anna, Laura and I have moments where we get along, but it's not what it seems. We've grown apart over the years. She doesn't understand me the way you do." Anna frowned, her thoughts racing. "Michael, I care about you, but I don't want to be the reason your marriage falls apart. I can't do this unless you're honest with yourself and with Laura." Michael looked at her with a mixture of sadness and admiration. "You're right, Anna," he said. "I need to figure out what I really want. I don't want to hurt you or anyone else." The conversation left Anna feeling a mix of relief and sadness. She knew she had done the right thing by speaking her mind, but the uncertainty of the situation weighed heavily on her heart. That evening, as she sat in her apartment, Anna reflected on the past few weeks. She thought about how Michael had brought a sense of joy and excitement to her life, but also how his presence had introduced confusion and doubt. Before continuing, take a moment to reflect. This story is inspiring you, isn't it? How about turning that inspiration into action? English Express is the right tool to take you to the next level. It's waiting for you in the first pinned comment. Click and discover how easy it is to improve your English. Anna knew she had to prioritize her own happiness and well-being. She couldn't control Michael's decisions, but she could control her own. With this in mind, she decided to focus on herself and the things that brought her peace. The next morning, Anna woke up feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Her journey wasn't over, but she was ready to face whatever came next. A week had passed since Anna's last conversation with Michael. During that time, she focused on her routine, her patience, and spending quiet evenings reflecting on what truly mattered to her. The hospital remained busy as ever, but Anna found solace in the small moments of patience, gratitude, a kind word from a colleague, or the peaceful breaks she spent in the hospital garden. Michael had given her space, and for that, Anna was grateful. She needed time to process her feelings and decide how she wanted to move forward. One evening, as she sat on her balcony watching the city lights, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Michael. "Anna, can we meet? I want to talk," it read. Anna hesitated, but eventually replied, agreeing to meet him at a park near her home the following evening. She knew this conversation was necessary, no matter how difficult it might be. The next day, Anna arrived at the park to find Michael already waiting. He looked different, calmer, more thoughtful. "Thank you for coming," he said as she approached. Anna nodded, taking a seat on the bench beside him. "What do you want to talk about, Michael?" He took a deep breath and said, "I've been doing a lot of thinking. You were right, I need to figure out what I want and be honest about it. Laura and I had a long conversation this week, and we've decided to work on our marriage. We both realized we owe it to ourselves to try." Anna felt a wave of emotions, relief, sadness, and even a sense of closure. "I'm glad you talked to her," she said. "You owe it to yourself and to Laura to give your marriage a chance." Michael looked at her with a mixture of gratitude and regret. "I care about you, Anna. You're an amazing person, and you've made me see things in a new way. But I know this is the right thing to do." Anna nodded. "I understand, Michael. I hope things work out for you and Laura." As they said goodbye, Anna felt a sense of peace. It wasn't the ending she had imagined, but it was the one that felt right. She had stayed true to her values and had made a decision that reflected her self-worth. Walking home, Anna reflected on her journey. She realized how much she had grown through this experience. She had faced difficult emotions, learned to set boundaries, and discovered the importance of prioritizing herself. As she reached her apartment, Anna felt a quiet strength within her. Life might not always go as planned, but she knew she was capable of navigating its challenges with grace and resilience. If this story touched you and helped you learn, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that make learning English engaging and fun. Your journey to mastering English is just beginning. Join us, and let's take the next step together.